Hello, everyone. We'll give a few minutes for people to join, but if you can start putting your name, organization, and contact information in the chat, we can go on and get that piece started. Sharon, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Can you hear me?
Yep, sounds good. I'll make sure to have the sharing on here so that you can, if you're wanting to start your presentation, and I don't know if you have like a opening thing, slide or whatever.
Just well, the first the cover page, yeah.
Okay. So if you wanted to go on and share it, and that way we can get it troubleshooting at least. Looks good. Yes, ma'am. Yep, that looks great. So if you're just joining us, make sure that you put your name, organization, and contact information in the chat.
Hola, Gladys. This is me on the 1501, Valerie.
Oh, great. Good to hear, Valerie.
We're going to be driving, so I'll just let you know that the only thing exciting Promise Center has to announce is that we will start our after-school program again in April.
Oh, good. Okay.
It will be different. We will be doing referrals from the C3s at the elementary school. So I'll send out more information about that early next week.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay, we'll give people just a couple more minutes to log on, but if you can, put your name, your organization, and contact information in the chat. Just a couple more minutes and then we'll get started. But if you can put your name, your organization, and contact information in the chat, All right, let's get started. So welcome everyone to today's BARA meeting. I'm so excited to hear what everyone is doing and any updates that are going on. But first, we have a presentation from the Community Development Block Grant Program. Sharon Rose is presenting from the city of Baytown. And so we're just gonna let her get started, and any questions, put them in the chat, and I'm sure Sharon will take questions after the presentation. But if you want to write it in the chat, we'll go through those towards the end when there's a little time to answer any questions. So Sharon, why don't you take it away?
Good afternoon, everyone. Like Gladys told you, my name is Sharon Rose. I'm the Community Development Generalist for the City of Baytown's Planning and Development Services Department. We are currently in the process of accepting applications for the upcoming CDBG program year. So today I was going to kind of go over what CDBG is, what would be an eligible project or activity that your organization can apply for, and then we changed the way the application is done this year. So I kind of have a step-by-step on how to register for an account and do the application online. I'm going to also share this with Gladys so that she can share it with the group. And I'm going to also post it on our website once everything is done. So we're going to talk about, well, introduce community development staff is literally me. I do have an assistant director and a director, but we are currently hiring actually. But right now it is just me. So our director is Martin Scribner and our assistant director is Chris Chavis. So what is Community Development Block Grant? So HUD provides grants to states, cities, counties annually. Every year, the amount of funding that is received changes. And it's basically to help low to moderate income families. It's to provide decent, safe, sanitary housing, suitable living environment, and expand economic opportunities. We don't know how much money we'll be getting for the upcoming year. We still have not received our allocation from HUD. So the number that you're seeing on the screen right now, that's an estimate. It's an average based off of what we received over the last 10 years. What we have available for public service activities, which is usually what our local nonprofits apply for, we estimate it's going to be about $97,000. But that could change because as you see here, that's how our money fluctuates every year. So we have, a year where we're close to 7 and a year where we're closer to 6. So it all depends. So the 650 is kind of an average. And so we won't know for sure until we know exactly how much we received, how much would be available for funding. So for you to have an eligible project or activity, you have to meet a national objective. So it has to either benefit low to moderate income people or areas, aid in the prevention of elimination of slum or blight, or meet an urgent need. At the bottom of the screen, that's actually the Code of Federal Regulations that this references. So if you wanted more information on that, you can always just look that up and it'll give you all that information much more in depth than the high level review that we'll be doing today. So what's eligible, what's ineligible? Ineligible would really be the most important one. And that's any assistance for building used for the general conduct of government, which means we can't use CDBG funds to remodel City Hall. Can't do anything for political activities, new housing construction, income payments. Now, while we do have programs to where we assist families, for example, we have a rental assistance program. The funding isn't provided to the applicant, it's provided to the apartment complex or to the mortgage broker. Same thing with our childcare program. When we pay for childcare for a family, we don't give the funding to the parents, we give it to the childcare provider. So any income payments that go directly to an applicant is not eligible. Any purchase of equipment and activities not benefiting low to moderate income Baytown households. That's important. They have to live within the city limits. They have to be low to moderate income people. So as you'll see on the left, acquisition and disposition of real property, public facilities and improvements, public services, housing rehabilitation, clearance and demolition, and economic development. Those are just a few of the eligible activities. There's a lot more, and you can always look it up online. That's actually the notation right down here. And our priority needs, we try to pick a few items instead of having such a broad list of things. We try to pick just a few things that we want to focus on. Affordable housing, addressing slum and blight, infrastructure improvements, public services, and adult education and training. Those are kind of our priorities right now. So whenever you want to do something in a low to moderate income area, you want to make sure that at least 51% of the residents in that area are low to moderate income, and you would use census data to do that. If this is something that you are interested in pursuing, I can help you kind of pull that data. I've done it a couple of times. Sometimes I have to remember how to do it because I haven't done it since last year or something, but I'll be more than happy to help you try to figure that out. And the service area has to be determined before we can even approve your program. So you have to let us know exactly where it is. It can't be one of those, oh, I'm gonna do a project in Baytown, but you don't tell us exactly where, because we have to see that the census tract and block groups that you're serving, at least 51% of them are low to moderate income. So limited clientele, that's for a specific group of people. So this is where abused children, homeless persons, battered spouses, elderly persons, disabled, migrant farm workers, things like that. It has to be a specific group of people. It can't just be a broad group. Everything is income-based. Any family that you serve, depending on the size of their household, will depend on what their maximum income can be. It cannot exceed that bottom row, which is the 80%. So one person household, they cannot make more than $44,000 a year. And they have to provide documentation that shows that they don't exceed that amount. And then it goes up to the household size until 8 persons. This is actually also subject to change. It changes annually, usually in April. So next month, we'll be getting the new income limits and this will change. So, and I can provide that information if it's ever needed. So HUD loves paperwork. So one of the things that you have to make sure is if you do receive the funding is that you keep excellent records. So we need everything, program policies and guidelines, correspondence, personnel files, if you're paying salaries out of your program, any legal files that are specific to your program, financial records, any applications that you receive, you have to keep those. And you actually have to keep them for 10 years, not 10 years, I'm sorry, 5 years. After the close of the grant year, you have to keep them for 5 additional years. After those 5 years, then you can do away with them. But within that 5-year time period, if we get audited by HUD for any specific year, they can choose an organization and say, I want to see all of their paperwork for the program that they ran. And we have to reach out to you and you have to have that paperwork available. If you don't, you would have to pay back any money that you received to HUD because they were trying to determine that your project or activity was eligible. These are programs that we funded in the current year. The Baytown Soccer Complex is that park over there across the street from the village. They're going to be developing that, putting fitness equipment, and this is kind of stage 1 of the project. Our housing programs, that includes our down payment assistance, our housing rehabilitation, sewer line repair, and our Operation Paintbrush program. Our community development transportation program provides bus passes from Harris County, as well as a rides card from Harris County Rides for Baytown residents that are elderly, disabled, or victims of sexual or domestic violence. We have our demolition of structures program, and that's where that's an internal one where we demolish vacant substandard structures. Hands of the Carpenter, that is a program that manages volunteers to assist elderly and disabled people with minor repairs in their home. Our neighborhood improvement program is where we focus on a specific area in Baytown and try to do beautification, trash off, things like that to improve the quality of life in the neighborhood. New Year, New Shoes is a program to where kids can get a new pair of shoes for the school year. Patsy's Destiny Wheelchair Accessible Park is under Bay Area Rehab. Yes, Bay Area Rehab, and they were doing modifications to the existing playground that they have there. Program administration, that's us. That's how we monitor the programs and administer the funding and manage internal programs as well as all of our subrecipients. And Project Bridge is childcare for people who reside in the Bay Area Homeless Services Shelter. So this is where everything is new. So everything is done online now. We will not be accepting any paper applications, any emailed applications, or anything like that. Everything has to be done online. And what you'll have to do first is you'll have to register for an account in our citizen self-service portal. So that right there is the link that'll take you directly to the Citizen Self-Service Portal. But if you just go to baytown.org and there's the little blue circles in the middle, on the right-hand side, there's one called Citizen Self-Service. That's, you click on that and then you start registering for an account if you already don't have one. So on the registration page, you would enter your email address that you're registering with, and then you're going to receive a confirmation email. So you'll have to go into your email, confirm, and then you'll be able to continue with the registration. If you've already registered, because now everything is done, if you want a permit, if you want to do anything with planning or with the permit counter or with health, everything is done in CSS. So if you've already registered for one and you just haven't used it since the last time you registered, it'll let you know that you already have an account, and then you can reset your password to check what your username is. That part right there, you want to confirm your email. And then after that, that's where you start putting in your personal information. You want to make sure that you create a strong password and add your address. Then you're going to receive a confirmation email that it's been approved and you can proceed with applying. So once you have applied, you're logged in, now you want to, once you've registered, excuse me, you're logged in and now you want to apply for the grant. You can actually click on apply. And in the search, you can type in Community Development Block Grant. You can type in RFP, you can type in CDBG. I tried to make a couple of search-friendly names for people in case they're not sure exactly what to search for. And then this will come up here showing you the information, just a brief description of the application process, and then you would just select apply. You'll have to put in the location of your organization, or if you know that your project is going to be at a specific location, then you want to put in a location of where the project is going to take place. And then once you search for it, you just check on that little box right there and select apply, and then you'll go to the next page. This is just the applicant information. Over here, you can actually add any additional contacts. It doesn't just have to be the applicant. For example, if I'm applying, but I want my director and my assistant director to also receive any notifications that have anything to do with my application, I would add them as a contact. If they're not already in there, you can manually add them, but then they would have to turn around and go back and finish their registration so that they have access to the system as well. So now you get to the more information part, and right at the top of that screen, I have the application instructions, as well as the 4-page question portion of the application and the budget. These two, the request for proposal and the budget worksheet, are required to be attached to this application. So you want to make sure that you submit this. So you can download the instructions and you can look everything over. One of the things that you can do with this program is if you're not ready to fill everything in yet or add your attachments because you still have more information that you need to gather, you started the application, you can save a draft and then you can return to it later so that you can finish answering questions or attaching documents, because you want to make sure that everything is filled in its entirety and all of the documents that are relevant to your project or activity have been attached. So over here, we have a few documents that will tell you that it's required. So you cannot move forward unless you attach those documents. And that's the worksheet, narrative of the project. It's a 1-page document explaining exactly more in depth from what was in the application of what it is that you want to do, the organizational chart, and the request for proposal. Over here, this is a drop down. That's where you can attach additional items, any supporting documents, advertising, acquisitions, construction bids, anything like that. Those you can add via that section right over here. So once you have everything uploaded and you're able to go on to the next page, you will sign your application and select next. Then it's going to give you a little overview of everything that you have answered, any questions in the system, as well as attachments that you have added to your application. To select submit, this right here will tell you that your application has been submitted. It says no fees are due at this time. No fees will ever be due, so don't let that throw you off. That's a system generated one. We cannot change it. We don't charge you to apply for the program. We're trying to give money away. We're not trying to take it. So don't worry about that right there. So now this is actually going to be on your dashboard. So whenever you want to see what's going on with your application, here's a workflow. It'll show you once we start reviewing it, we're going to check that off. And this little donut is going to fill up to maybe 10%. And then once we give them out to all of our staff to evaluate them, we'll check that off. So you'll be able to see where we are in the application process. We don't start reviewing your applications until the application period closes. So application period closes on April 8th or 9th. It's that Friday, hold on. April 8th is when proposals are due. So once we receive the proposals, we do some reviews of the RFPs internally. We prepare them for our Community Development Advisory Committee. Then we're going to host a public hearing to where you would have the opportunity to come in and present your program to our board members. City staff has no say in who receives funding. We can give them advice based on previous years that people might have received funding or something like that, but we don't make the ultimate decision. It is done by our CDAC. So you want to make sure that when you come in to make your presentation, you're selling it because you want them to fund you. After that, we have to take it to City Council for approval. And then once it's approved by council, we submit everything to HUD and the program year begins on October 1st. And that's all right here. So April 8th at 11:59 p.m. At midnight on April 8th, or you might want to call that the morning of April 9th, I will log into that system and I'm going to turn off the application to where it will no longer be available. So everything has to be submitted by 11:59 p.m. And I made sure to put Central Standard Time. We're not doing Mountain or Eastern. Public hearings will be held on May 3rd and 10th. That's where you will have the opportunity to come in and present your program. After that, we have a 30-day public comment period before we take this to council on July 28th. The action plan is the document that we submit to HUD, telling them how we plan on spending the money that they have given us for the upcoming year. That's due mid-August, and funding would be available October 1st. So if you're not familiar with CDBG, one of the things that you have to understand is that this is a grant that's done on a reimbursement basis, which means you spend the money and then you submit your receipts, your bank statements showing that everything was paid. And if it was an eligible expense, we will reimburse you for that. If you spend any money prior to October 1st, we cannot reimburse you for that. So you want to make sure any money that you start spending is not done until October 1st and beyond. You have between October 1st and September 30th of the next year to use that funding. And if you're not familiar with writing grants, some people can be intimidated by it, but it's always good to print out the application, look everything over, start making notes, get all your paperwork together. I always ask somebody to review what I write because you never know how it might sound or if maybe you just reworded something wrong or punctuate. I mean, there's just a lot that goes with writing something, especially when you're presenting it to somebody to review. You want to make sure that your stuff is good. You want to make sure you're creative, you answer all the questions. If there is a question that is not applicable to you, don't just leave it blank, but this is not applicable to our organization. There is a checklist in the application instructions of items that need to be submitted. So make sure you print that out and you're checking things off as they apply to your application that you're going to be attaching to your application, because you want us to have as much information as we possibly need. Because if we don't have enough, they're not going to be able to determine if you're eligible or if it's something that they're going to want to fund. When it comes to your budget, you want to make sure that you're specific. On that budget worksheet, we actually have pre-filled line items, and then there's blank ones to where if something in the pre-filled ones don't apply to you, you can fill in whatever it is that you want to request for. Make sure that you separate everything out by line item, because in the past, our board will look at your budget spreadsheet and they might say, okay, well, we're not going to fund transportation and travel, but we'll fund office supplies. So you might not get one line item, but you might get the other. So you want to make sure that you're specific in your budget requests on how that funding is going to be spent, how much you're allocating to each line item. Write a little bit each day. I mean, personally, I am a last minute writer. I will write a 10-page paper 2 days before it's due, but that works for me. It might not work for everybody else though. So if you need to take your time, download it today, register for an account today, download the information start writing, because you don't want to be, if you're not comfortable with last minute like I am, you know, you're going to just be stressed out, and you don't want to do that. That's not what we're trying to do. We're trying to help people. YouTube is a great resource for you to look up any grant writing tips. And if there is a program that we funded in the past that is similar to what you think that you want to apply for, you can do a public information request to see that application. And as with the Freedom of Information Act, you can actually, I believe it's done on citizen self-service. I have to double check that, but you can actually request for any applications that relate to a transportation program that were submitted in the last 5 years. Be specific, because if you ask for too much, they start charging you per page that they have to print. So you want to be specific. You want to make sure that your application is reasonable and that it's actually addressing a need within the community. You want to make sure that it is eligible. You don't want to apply for something that's ineligible because you just wasted your time if it's not something that is against HUD regulations. You don't want to waste your time. I mean, just make sure, call me. I have no problem answering any questions. Make sure you have the appropriate level of experienced staff. I mean, make sure it's a program that somebody is familiar with, because you don't want to have somebody that has no idea what they're doing trying to implement a program, because they might end up making ineligible expenses and then they submit a reimbursement request to me and it wasn't even remotely related to what you're supposed to be doing, and we can't reimburse that. If there are any written plans to complete the project, submit them with your application. Also, one of the things that we look at is if you have additional funding sources or any in-kind support. Because like I was saying earlier, if we can't fund every single thing on your budget, you have something that'll help back you up to cover that cost that we're not providing you. And these are reasons why RFPs are not funded. Number one, and that's a big one, if it's not eligible for CDBG, it has to benefit low to moderate income people within the city limits of Baytown. The city has a GIS program on our website to where you can type in an address and see if it's in city limits. I've taught a lot of our subrecipients how to use it, and I have no problem teaching anybody else how to use it, because you want to make sure that the people that you're serving reside within the city limits, because that right there is automatically ineligible. If you don't submit a complete application, remember, answer all your questions, provide any additional documents that will sell your project. You want to make sure that these people see the need for what it is that you're trying to do. If it doesn't seem feasible, then of course we're not going to be able to fund that. Our consolidated plan does have a list of priorities here for Baytown that is on our website. I can provide Gladys with the link to where you can find it so that you can look at our consolidated plan, see what our priority needs are. And that's our priority needs for the next 5 years that we're trying to address, and make sure that your activity is addressing one of those needs. We talked about moderate income persons. Budget is not within our funding range. So you saw that we might have $97,000 for public service activities. If you request $150,000, we're not going to be able to do that, because that leaves us with no additional funding for other organizations. We try to, spread the money out as best that we could. Make sure, as we were talking about experienced people to run your program, if your organization doesn't have adequate capacity to manage the program, it's not going to work. Reasonable cost benefit ratio, lack of self-sufficiency, that goes back to the budget. CDBG can't be the end all be all for your program. HUD does not like to see that your program would not work if you didn't have this. It could be the primary, but you should have backup funding in case we can't fund you for everything. And then lack of funds. We don't know how much money we're going to get. You saw there was a year we got 608. There's a year we got 688. There's no telling how much money we're going to get. I got an email yesterday saying that the budget, they actually removed 1.5 million that would normally go towards CDBG for the upcoming year to fund economic development infrastructure projects that are regionally backed and whatever. So I don't know how much money we're going to get. In the current year, we got 652. There's no telling what we're going to get for next year. So we want to make sure that we're not the end all be all. And if you have any questions, that is my phone number right there. That is the email that goes to our CDBG inbox. It comes into my inbox, so I check it daily. I'm one of those people that doesn't like having a number next to any of my inboxes, so I check them all the time. So I'll be more than happy to either schedule a phone conference with you, or we can talk by email. It's completely up to you. If y'all have any questions for me?
Sharon, is there going to be an evening? I know in the past y'all done something like in the evening where you do another presentation. Will y'all be doing that again?
We did one last Tuesday.
Okay, I'm sorry, I missed that one then.
No worries. Yeah, we do one in the evening, and that's usually at the beginning of the month, and then we do this one. This is usually kind of the middle of the application period. So usually by now, people might have downloaded stuff and been looking at it. So people might have more questions than they might have had at last week's meeting.
Perfect. Any other questions from anyone? Okay. Well, if you do have questions, make sure you screenshot the information right now to reach Sharon. I'll be sending out the information that she sends me, so hopefully we can get some more people applying on the CDBG. Love Network is a recipient of them, and we just love working with the city. Sharon is amazing. She will walk you through anything if you have any questions. So please, please, please apply. It's money that can go towards your mission and impact the community. So
I'll add my information in the chat. I didn't want to do that while I was presenting because I didn't know if you saw it, because I'm not a millennial, so I'm not very good at this Zoom thing, so I wasn't sure. But I'll add my information in the chat as well.
No worries. Yeah, if you have anything, just dump it in the chat, files or the presentation even. That way people can get it now, and then just send it to me, and I'll be sure to email it to the list. So, all right. Well, with that said, we'll jump into updates. So Love Network is still continuing to do, oh, I'm sorry, I still have my, there we go, that's me. Love Network is still continuing to help with rental, utilities, food, clothing, hygiene products, diapers. Our Women Work program, although it's not officially launched, we are still helping when women need help or clothing for a new job, or if they're actively seeking for work. So just send me an email and we can get it scheduled. It's by appointment only. And so we just love working with all of you, and looking forward to updates from you guys. So with that said, let's go with Nancy Saguirre. What's going on in your department?
Hi, everybody. My name is Nancy Saguirre. I work with STAR Texas Health Steps program. It's Medicaid services. There's nothing new going on as of now. I'm just out here. It's just getting busier with events, which that's a good thing. So if anybody needs or is having an event, we'd be happy to come out and set up a table or do presentations. My contact information is on the chat. We do enrollments for people that have Medicaid into the plans, and then we also educate clients that have children on Medicaid on the different resources that they have, like case management, transportation. We offer scheduling assistance for them, and then also helping them find providers. Thank you.
Thanks, Nancy, appreciate it. And a question for you, do you ever come out to agencies and sign people up?
We don't go out to agencies unless we're doing a presentation or an event at the location and they need help. We do it there, but just to come out, just to enroll, we don't. They can always call us. The cell number that I have on there, I don't mind that getting shared to the clients. It's a work cell, so they can always call me and we can do it over the phone, or if they need a home visit, they can also request a home visit and we would come out and help them.
Perfect, thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, Mary Ann Jackson, how's homeless services going?
Let me unmute myself. We're fine. My case manager, Vicki Zumwald, is on this call too. We have a lot of vacancies in our women's dorm, single women, women with small children. We have a wait list though for our men's dorm and for our family dorm. So we're staying pretty busy, but if people know of anybody who's homeless and who has a valid photo ID, Social Security card, and who can work full time, we're the program for them.
Thank you so much. Vicki, anything you want to add to that?
No, I think that pretty well covered everything.
Perfect. Okay, well, thank you so much. Appreciate y'all coming. Alex, how about you?
Hi there, can you hear me? Okay, okay, good. Yes, we're just working, I'm working with the residents on service coordination for, with our seniors, working with the Houston Food Pantry. And we're also working with another doorstep blessing here in Baytown, which is going to be starting up next on the 26th. But yeah, we're just going along here. And one thing we are looking for is anyone who would be interested in like a nutritional seminar to share with our residents. They're very interested in anything in the diabetes and high blood pressure, high cholesterol area, speaking to maybe like an LVN could come in and talk. They would be very interested in that. Thank you.
Yeah, sounds great. I know that on our email list, we have several people that are that do that, especially within the YMCA. Myra, do you know anybody who would maybe be able to help them with that?
Gladys, yes. Actually, I was just about to message Alex. So Harris County Public Health, they have a group of dietitians and nutritionists, and even community health workers that provide nutrition education. They also do diabetes prevention program. So they're actually signing people up right now. And I can put the information in the chat if that would be helpful, or Alex, if you prefer that I contact you directly, I can do that as well.
Yeah, you can drop it in the chat. Thank you.
Okay, perfect.
Awesome. And Myra, while we have you on the line, why don't you update us on MD Anderson?
Yes, I don't have any major updates. We're having our Baytown Steering Committee next week. And actually we're having a speaker from American Lung Association to speak on different programming related to tobacco cessation and prevention. So if anyone is interested in learning more about that, send me a message and I can include you during that portion of our working group for tobacco prevention.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Myra. Willie Cullerville, was it Culliver? Is that how you say that, Willie?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So glad to see you on the call. What's going on with Unlimited
Yes,
Vision?
ma'am. I'm here.
How are things at Unlimited Vision?
Yes, ma'am. You know, I was just speaking to my coworker about the wonderful event that we shared, and how warm your company was, as well as other people that attended.
Oh, great. So do you want to update the group about what's going on with Unlimited Vision?
Well, sure. Again, my name is Willie Culliver, and I am a recovery support peer specialist, also known as recovery coach at Unlimited Vision's Behavioral Health Institute. And we, our first priority is substance abuse. That's the foundation of the company. We help people who suffer with the disease of addiction. And we have evolved now, and we also are a behavioral health facility. We address mental illness now, and the company is steady, prospering and growing. And soldiers like myself and my supervisor and my other comrade, Miss Renee and Miss Joy, that is our team in Baytown. And we out here doing the footwork and just trying to help where people are receptive to it. You know, one of the sad facts that I've learned in this field is that help is not for everybody who needs it. It's only for the people who wants it. So We're not gonna give up on anybody, but nonetheless, we're gonna keep doing the footwork, and we on board to help, and we want to collab with anybody that's of the same mind. We open.
Great. Thank you so much, Willie. And Ms. Joy, would you want to say anything?
Really had covered everything. I'm Joy.
Awesome. Okay, well, thank you so much, Ms. Joy. And Willie, we appreciate y'all joining the call for the first time in a long time, so thanks for coming. All right, well, let's go with Ms. Karen Mudd. How are things going?
Let me tell you, can you hear me? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, Red Cross is always wanting to try to stay a step ahead of a disaster. So what we've got going now is not this Saturday, but next, we're going to have a practice for us opening shelters. And this is going to happen for everything from Brownwood to Beaumont. So our city, let's see, Central Baytown, Liberty County, Chambers County, and Galveston are all in what we call the Central Coast. And our area is going to have ours at Santa Fe, because most of the people that are available are from Galveston County. Chambers and Liberty doesn't have a whole lot of volunteers, so we're always working on that. But we'll go in and we'll act just like that we had some sort of disaster. And of course, it's not just hurricanes. I think one of the interesting ones I had one time was whenever Chambers County EOC called and said, we've found this gentleman deceased at a motel, and he's got a lot of explosive things in his room. So we need to find out, what all was going on before he passed away. And, it might be that he's got things set up so that the whole place will blow up if somebody opens the door. We don't know, but this is what we're checking out. So they had to take everybody in the mobile home and the motel, and put them someplace. And so sure enough, they called the Red Cross and we opened a shelter for them. Now, luckily at that afternoon, they had figured out everything was cool and they could send the people back. But, so we were there for all kinds of emergencies. And that's why I put in the chat that you can always call 1-800-RED Cross. But we're going to be working next weekend. So hope y'all all don't have to ever see us, to be honest with you.
Ain't that the truth? And with hurricane season coming up, oh, Lord. Let's all be prepared as much as we can anyway.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. All right, how about Ms. Karen Spear?
Thank you, Gladys. Just wanted to mention again, we did get our CPRIT grant renewed. We have 2 more years of services, $2 million to spend on women. And this time the grant also covers men. So yeah, and if you can't, we have mobile days available. We have 4 mobile coaches we can bring out to any place that wants it. But we also, because y'all are so close, Chambers County, Liberty County, any counties that you know someone that needs a mammogram and can't get on our mobile coach or needs it pretty quickly, they can come to our center. The closest one is 45 and Fuquay, 45 South and Fuquay, and we will give them a fuel card when they get there to help pay for the gas. And with the price of gas now, I think everybody could use that. Also, because of the grant, we are hiring a community engagement navigator. Anybody, Chambers, Liberty, Jefferson, Hardin counties is eligible. The job is posted on our website, but they'll work from home, full benefits. They're just representing the rows in the community on certain counties, and 401k. So that's available. And if anybody's interested, they can contact me. And
it's really a great organization to work for. They really value the employees that work for it. It's small, but you know, we love what we do. We're out there helping people with mammograms. And it was really this last month, the old grant was ending. So we saw 285 patients, but 10 patients were positive. That's a big percentage. And if you do need any other, if you get a screening mammogram and you need any type of biopsy or ultrasound, the ROSE covers it, the grant covers it. And if there is a positive, we work you all the way through the system, from helping you with navigating you to chemo if you need it, or radiation, whatever is involved. We're there to help you through the whole thing, and there's no cost to anybody. We don't ask any questions about citizenship. Anybody's eligible as long as you're 40 years and older and you're at 200% of poverty level or below. So we're here to help. Just please reach out to me.
Thank you so much, Sharon. Appreciate that.
Mhm.
All right, Stephanie Nunez.
Hey y'all, my name is Stephanie Nunez. I'm from Harris County Transit. We offer an array of different transportation services. We have public transit that covers Baytown, Cloverleaf, Crosby, LaPorte, Highlands. We have on-demand taxi services, and within taxi services, we have multitudes of subgroup programs. One of them being Love Network that Sharon mentioned is covered by CDBG. And we also have a new service called Micro Transit, which is not in your area. It's so far being tested in Generation Park, but if successful, could trickle down to Baytown. That is just basically 2 buses covering a specific zone. Clients can put in their information on the app to get picked up and get same-day service. And they cost just as much as riding public transit. But what I can offer you for nonprofits, we offer free advertisements inside our transit vehicles. So if there's a special event you want promoted and getting out to the public, shoot me an email. I'll be happy to work on the advertisement for you. We do offer 50% off discounts for bus tickets. So if you have clients that are in the fixed route area, they can take a bus to see you. You can give them that bus ticket so they have no excuse not to see you. And what else? If you're interested in becoming a agency like Love Network is for transportation services, definitely give us a call and we can talk about how we can double the funds that you have to get the transportation that your clients need. And the only other thing new is that we still have mask mandates on all of our transportation services. We just got word back from the Federal Transit Administrators. They've extended it through April 18th of this year. So mask is required to use our transportation programs. And we're keeping an eye on that after 18. We're hoping that the masks can come off, but until then, better safe than sorry. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Stephanie. All right, Renee. Renee, are you available? You're on mute.
Yes, I'm available. Can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. I just wanted to say hello to everyone, and I don't have any major update. We're considering doing a Easter egg hunt at our location. We've been talking about it. So, and if so, then it's going to be on April 9th. So if I could send that out to you once we confirm it. But yeah, we're thinking to do something for the kiddos. And I didn't want it to be too close to the holiday because families have their own plans as far as Good Friday and things like that. So that's why I was thinking that the 9th would be better than doing it right before. So hope everybody's doing well, and y'all have a great rest of the week.
Thanks, Ms. Renee. Yes, please send me once you finalize that date, and we'll get it out to everyone. Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, B. Edwards.
Good afternoon, this is Benjamin. So I was just writing down a note from what one of the ladies was just talking about. As far as new information, the Job Corps has reopened in Texas. As of last week, I did send someone to Utah, one person to St. Marcus, and another young lady to Arkansas. So if individuals, I was just reading some of the comments in the chat. So I saw like homeless and some other facilities or agencies rather. So if you have individuals that are 16 to 24 that you feel like might need some assistance finishing school or obtaining a trade, you can actually reach out to me. I do come to the Baytown, Texas workforce. As far as meeting individuals, I think it was a lady, is her name Nunez? Is that it? So I'm gonna try to call you after this meeting to see if I can figure out that advertisement that you were just talking about as far as the Job Corps is concerned and in Baytown. So if you have any students or young people, again, the age limit is 16 to 24. You can just give me a call and I will assist them with bettering their education and trade skills. That's all.
That's all. Like that's minor. Well, great job. Thanks so much, Benjamin, for joining us. Laura Alvarado.
Hi, everybody. I'm Laura Alvarado with Babies in Baytown, which is a part of First 3 Years. And we're actually gearing up for our Dia de los Niños event on April the 30th. And so we invite anyone in the community to come help, and any organizations that may want to have a table at the event. The committee just chose the time frame, which would be from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. And then it will be at Central Heights Park there in Baytown. And so we've got that going on, but most importantly, also, we have our own community impact fund that applications are still open, and the deadline is the end of this month, March the 31st. So we really encourage any organizations that looking to do a project geared to early childhood and parents with ages 0 to 3. So we really encourage you to kind of take a look at what you might be able to do. And we're funding anywhere between $100 to $1,000. And I would be remiss if I did not mention that one of our first 3-year programs, which is Safe Babies, was just awarded $2.4 million by Harris County as part of their early childhood development outreach. So we're really excited about that. And I'm happy to share more information on Safe Babies. We have a team in Houston, and the focus of the funds will be to help expand that program. And they work with family or children that are in the welfare system, trying to eliminate some of the mental issues that kids in the system would be having, as well as creating some sort of reunification, training the parents and getting them to the point where they could possibly have their kids back. And so anyway, more information can be sent on that. I'll send the information to Gladys, but we were just really excited at First 3 Years to learn that. So that's all I have.
Awesome. Congratulations. Thank you, Laura.
Thank you.
Mel Dancy, how is CIS?
Hello, everyone. CIS, we're doing really good. So one of the things that we have coming up is our Student and Family Social Emotional Learning Summit. We are in partnership with Harris County KAIS and Goose Creek Student Wellness Department. And so that summit will be coming up on May 7th from 9 to 1 p.m. at Sterling High School. And I know I have talked to a few of you all that are on the call today. We will be sending out information this week. If anyone is interested in being a vendor at this event, we will be sending out emailing and mailing information, flyers, and everything this week. It will actually come from the Student Wellness Department through Goose Creek. So please be on the lookout for that. Some of the topics that we're going to cover with our students and families are social media safety, human trafficking, vaping, healthy relationships, conflict resolution, and of course, we always have to throw in that mindfulness and self-care. And so we'll have those going on. There'll be like different breakout sessions, and then the families will be able to walk around to the different vendors and get information. So yeah, if anyone has any questions or anything, please feel free to reach out to me. But I think I have most of you all on the list to receive this information. But Gladys, I will also forward you the flyer and the official letter, just in case we missed someone that I didn't get the information for.
Sounds great. And you said it was May 7th at Sterling, what time?
At Sterling from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. And we will provide breakfast and lunch. And we'll have store giveaways.
Oh, good. All right. Well, thanks, Mel. Appreciate the update.
You're welcome.
Mildred.
Well, hello there, everyone. I'm Mildred Johnson. I'm with Able Angels of Real Estate as well as Able Angel Residential Care Homes, but I don't have too many updates. I did want to thank whoever that was that posted the vacancies that I had before. I am getting flooded with folks, and now I have no room at all. I actually have a waiting list. So I don't have anything right now for anyone. So whoever that was that did that, I truly appreciate you guys. Thanks a lot.
All right, thank you so much, Mildred. Patricia?
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I apologize for jumping on late. This is Patricia Martinez with Workforce Solutions here in Baytown. So I apologize. I do not have, we're working on our young youth flyers. That's the huge promotion that we're doing right now for students and young adults between the ages of 16 and 24. So if you or your organization, if that's your clients or your customers are in that population, please reach out to me. I'll put my information there in the chat. And as soon as we get our flyers going for this summer, we will send them out to you, Gladys, to post, and then we'll post them here at our BARA meetings.
Thank you so much, Patricia. And
Thank
yeah,
you.
just whenever you get those, send them out and we'll share them with everybody. Okay, Valerie, I know you're on the phone and I'm not sure what you're, if you're able to share. Okay, we'll move on. And who is the 512-560-3649 number?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, that was Renee from UHP Health. I just decided to get on the phone, and I need to get on the phone instead of be on the screen.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, well, thank you everyone for attending. I will be sending out oh, I'm sorry, Valerie, are you able to share?
Yeah, I just pulled into the parking lot. I'll just quickly reiterate that Promise Center is excited that we are going to finally restart our after-school program in April. The program is being completely redesigned, so it will not be open registration. We're going to be taking registrations from C3s at the elementary schools. And we are going to start volunteer orientation next week. So as we have some documents that kind of explain in more detail what the program will offer, we will share that with you, Gladys, so that it can be shared out to the entire group. But I can tell you that we are adding a parent component, and the parents will now be coming in and working with us to learn how to help their children do homework, because we really want to stop the systemic problem of parents not having the tools to help their child do their homework or to learn specific areas that they need to improve on to do better in class. So we're really excited about that. And of course, the gardening program is going great. We're still having trouble getting the greenhouse up because there's a part that is missing from the kit. So more news on that later, but we will be working on the beds in the garden at Promise Center this Friday and next Saturday, the 26th, I think that is, of March. And the first week of April, the plants will be going into the ground. And you know I'm excited about that.
Yeah, me too. So, all right. Well, thank you.
Any
so
of
much.
y'all are welcome to come visit. You don't have to come work, but if anybody wants to come by and see what we're doing, the events are on Volunteer Connect.
Great. That was my next question. So, all right. Well, thank you so much, Valerie. Appreciate it. All right, everyone. Well, thank you for coming. I will be sending out an email on Friday to all of our agencies because it's time to update the resource guide. It's going to be a little different as far as the update this time. We're going to do it through a Google form. That way we can get information and you are able to upload any flyers, brochures, anything that you might have. So we really want this to be a robust and complete resource guide of our area. So please be sure to complete that and share it with any other organization. This doesn't have to necessarily be part of this group. If there's another agency or organization, friends that you might know, feel free to send that out, and that way we can get a complete guide of the resources in our area. And hopefully we'll be able to put everything on our website. That way it's easily accessed, not just for you, but for the community. So look forward to that email on Friday, and we will see you next time, next month. Thank you so much.